Ladies, I am back, and today I'm going to share with you exactly how I managed to lose weight so that maybe you can replicate my strategy and also get in shape for summer. My dear elegant ladies, welcome back to another video. I know that it has been a long time since I saw you last time. I had to take a quarantine break as I have been working on some very important projects that I'm soon going to reveal with you. As we have approached May month now, we are in the beginning of summer, and some of us have perhaps lost weight during quarantine, but I know that some of us have unfortunately put on some weight. And it is the beginning of summer. We don't want to be doomed in summer. We don't want to be hiding in the bushes. So I wanted to share with you some of the tips that I've used in the last month or two that actually helped me lose weight. Please bear in mind that I'm not a health professional, I am not a doctor, I am not a nutritionist, so I am not legitimate to give you any form of advice when it comes to weight loss. All I want to do is to share with you what has worked for me, and maybe you can feel inspired to do some changes in the way you live your life. Okay, disclaimer done. Now let's get into the subject. Ladies, I was able to lose about 3 kilos in the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And one thing you need to know is that I am already quite a slim person. So for me to lose 3 kilos is actually quite difficult. It's oftentimes easier to lose 3 kilos if you are a little bit bigger. If you're following me on Instagram, and you should if you don't, it's at School of Affluence. In my stories, I am very much sharing openly my journey and my healthy lifestyle, my well-being journey, and health and nutrition is very important for me. However, back in the days, as everybody, I have been one who have tried all kinds of diets, and I can also tell you that these diets have messed up my head quite a lot. So last year I came in contact with this practice called mindful eating. It's also known as intuitive eating. And I started doing it, and I got really into it because I really felt that this is something that will really help me with certain food issues that I have. Ladies, I'm going to be 100% transparent with you when it comes to food issues that I've had. I've never had an eating disorder, but I am somebody who can definitely be an emotional eater, a stress eater, somebody who eats when they're sad, lonely, anxious, and so on. And I think this is a very common thing. I think majority of people who actually are overweight today, it's probably 90% emotional eating reasons rather than, I mean, of course, some have medical reasons to why they're overweight, but I think majority are truly because of that. I noticed, I think it was when I first started my business, because the business was new for me and I was getting a lot of media publicity, and my life changed the intensity from kind of one day to another. And I wasn't really prepared for all of that. So there was a lot of things that I was kind of dealing with that was new to me, and for me it was stressful. So I started stress eating, meaning that I started to put on weight. So I put on about 4 kilos, I would say 4 or 5 kilos. And I mean, if you see some of my videos last year, you can definitely see some of that stress eating that I put on. And it's not a weight that I feel comfortable in because I know that that's not really who I am. So since then, I've been kind of thinking about wanting to lose that weight, but I don't want to go back to dieting. It's not a healthy way of living your life. You know, being in deficit, being, under restrictions. The word or the phrase restrictive eating just freaks me out. I personally feel that there is a balance where you can achieve a slim physique, you can have a healthy way of living without having to be deprived. For that reason, when people ask me kind of if I'm vegan, if I'm this and if I'm that, and to be quite honest with you, my natural instinct to food is that I am more inclined to a plant-based diet. That's the type of food that I enjoy the most. And I have been vegan in the past and vegetarian and everything. But I've decided that even though I enjoy vegan food, and that's usually the food that I try to eat the most of, I do not label myself as anything anymore. I do not follow a diet unless it's mindful eating. Instead, I listen to my body. And that's what really clicked with me when I came across intuitive eating. Because intuitive eating talks about how you should be listening to what your body needs, what it craves, not what your emotional state craves and not what your boredom craves to eat, but actually really starting to get in tune with your body's needs and listen to it. I have a book recommendation and I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. Definitely read this book if you want to get into intuitive eating. One thing that intuitive eating says you shouldn't be doing, and that is fasting, because fasting is restrictive eating. That's something though that I do not fully agree on, because I still believe that you can actually combine both if it's done in a healthy way. And me personally, I am not able to give up fasting due to medical reasons. So I do intermittent fasting, which is I usually have a set eating window in the whole day, meaning that usually I don't eat breakfast. I usually start my eating by having lunch. Occasionally, I also do a full day fast. It can be a 36-hour day fast. And that's usually when I feel that my body needs a reset. So again, I'm listening to my body to its needs. So what I do is that usually I break my fast at 12 during daytime. And if for a reason I start feeling very hungry around 10 or 11, I will not force myself to wait until 12 o'clock. I will actually allow myself to eat something, and I don't want to be rigid. And then the next day instead, I can just try and eat at 12 instead, to keep my hours of intermittent fasting. So going back to my weight loss, and I will be honest with you and say that a majority of it of course happened because of diet. Because I finally was able to master intuitive eating, it takes time to get used to it and to really learn how to listen to your body correctly. And I would say the major things that I have learned is that I'm now actually only eating to a point where my body tells me, okay, I've had enough, no need to eat more. And I'm able to actually stop eating. This has been a very difficult part for me back in the days because, again, I used to be an emotional eater. So I used to be obsessed with food. And for me, I was eating more for this kind of satisfaction that the dopamine release that food gives you. Then you become actually more addicted to the dopamine release rather than anything else. But in this situation, I am now not obsessed with food. I only eat food now because I need the nutrients, and not so much because I'm here to stuff myself. I was thinking about it. When was the last time I ate myself to the point that I felt so full I got tired and needed to lay down and have a rest? Before, I would do this all the time. Not all the time, but quite a lot. Now, no. Now I can't remember last time. So what have I eaten during this weight loss process? First thing that I need you to know is that I'm a person who eats in phases. I don't know why I've always been like this. If I'm into something today, I will be eating it pretty much every day until I get bored of it. And this is not something I can change. Raspberry phase. I don't know, in the last 3 weeks or so, I've been craving raspberries so much. I have probably eaten 1 box or 2 boxes every day. But one thing that I've really been craving a lot in the last month or 2 months probably now, and that is salmon. Which is very strange because I recently was in a phase when I was anti-salmon. I couldn't stand salmon. I used to love it before, but then I became very anti and I wasn't able to eat it for about a year. However, all of a sudden I came out of it and now the only thing I want to eat is salmon. I have been eating a lot of smoked salmon and I've also entered an egg phase. Do not know why I love eggs so much right now, and I like it boiled exactly 9 minutes, just enough so that the yellow is a little bit soft and can maybe be a little bit creamy, like on a little aspect. Then I'm also craving a lot of green vegetables, and broccoli has been one of my favorite green vegetables. Celery was another vegetable that for some reason I started to become very obsessed about. Started to eat a lot of celery. I was also doing a really nice keto dish with celery and minced meat. But since I don't like meat so much, I was using corn meat, which is a vegetarian option. Another really strange craving that I had was walnuts, and I'm still eating walnuts, but I'm eating about maybe 5 pieces a day. So it's not like a big amount of walnuts. Before, for instance, as an example, before my intuitive eating days, if I would crave a nut, I would eat the whole bag. Now, I do not eat a whole bag, not because I'm restricting myself, but because truly, I don't know why, I can't, I'm not interested anymore. I just eat exactly how much my body tells me to eat. So, a few pieces is enough. I really never thought I would be able to be like this. So there's another thing that I remember that I've also been enjoying during this time. That is orange. but in particular orange juice that I've been doing in a slow raw juicer. A lot of people are afraid of juices. A lot of people are afraid of fruit because of the fructose, the sugar levels. I am not afraid of those. I drink orange juice every day, freshly squeezed, and I can even have 2 glasses. I don't mind. I don't care. If my body wants it, I will give it to it. Oh, another thing. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably noticed when I uploaded my healthy smoothie milkshake recipe. It's basically a smoothie with superfoods, but you add banana, you add dates to make it sweet, and then you add some superfoods. And what it is with this is that it tastes pretty much like milkshake, but it's a healthier version. But of course, if you're really gonna start counting calories and fructose levels, of course it has sugar. You know, it has dates, it has bananas. People who are food obsessed right now will be like, oh, how can you? There's so much sugar in it. But the thing is, I don't care because I'm an intuitive eater now and I'm not afraid of sugar and I'm not afraid of fat, and I will allow myself to eat these things because, well, you see, I'm much happier and I've also managed to lose weight, so I must be doing something right. I personally do not believe this whole obsession with carbs and fats and what else is it, you know, all these macros and not my thing and will never be my thing. I do not count calories. I have in the past, and that is what messes you up in your head. So that was a big chunk on the diet. And don't worry, I'm gonna go back to everything and wrap it up in the very end where you will actually understand how it all works together. But I'm also going to add the element of exercise because if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I am very much into running, cardio, exercise, but I'm not a freak and I'm not somebody who exercises all day long, every day and obsessed. I do it for my well-being to release endorphins so that I am happy and I stay content throughout the day. So running is something that I really enjoy doing, but I stopped doing it for weight loss. Now I actually use it for the endorphin release. In particular, I need it during the winter months. So I tend to run more in winter. In summer, because so much vitamin D is around me that I don't need to run as much. So I run now maybe 2-3 times per week, maybe two times more. And it's helping me to just stay balanced, to release stress. It makes me feel really good. Again, when I stopped forcing myself to run because of weight loss, do you know what happened? I started running more. I do not see it as something painful or negative or annoying or, oh, I don't feel like running, I'm gonna force myself even though I hate it. Of course, there are days when you feel a bit slow and lazy and for that reason you don't want to run. But now actually I'm running because I'm searching for that endorphin release and it's making me feel so good. But one thing that I started to really incorporate more, and that is walking. I love nature and I love walking. If exercise played any form of role in my weight loss, it's definitely because of the walking. It's not so much the running. I started walking about, I would say 10,000 steps more in a day or 5,000 steps more. So if before it was a challenge for me to reach 10,000 steps in a day, now I would be minimum doing 10,000 steps, but usually I would do maybe 12,000, 13,000, maybe, 15,000 or sometimes even more. We actually started doing hikes on Sundays. So then easily I could get up to 20,000 steps. So my activity levels went up. And of course, it's normal if you end up losing some weight, if you have a good diet in combination. I was doing some functional training at home during quarantine just to keep up my muscle mass, but I wasn't doing any strength training to gain muscle. So that's something I'm going to resume now when the gyms open up. There is one little detail that I want you to be aware of that I've never actually done before, but that I really think also played an interesting part of my weight loss. Again, I don't think there's just one thing. I don't think it's just diet or just exercise or so. Mainly it's diet, but with additional exercise. And there was one detail that I changed. Because usually I do my exercise in the morning and then I work the rest of my day and then take it easy in the evening. Now, during this time, I changed things around. I started my day sometimes with exercise, but oftentimes I was working on these important projects that I'm currently dealing with. And then in the end of the workday, I would go for a really nice long walk. So that would be a walk of maybe 7 kilometers, 8 kilometers, quite a nice walk. in nature, not very fast, but not slow either. Something that it feels like a comfortable tempo. I would oftentimes be out for about an hour and a half, and when I would come back, I would not have dinner. And the reason for that is because it is outside of my intermittent fasting eating window. And because I was doing low intensity training with this walk in the evening, my body wasn't actually that hungry. I had already eaten my last meal around 5 o'clock, sometimes 6, but 6 is the absolute latest time where I would eat. So I would go for a walk at 6 and I would walk for an hour and a half and I would come home and I wouldn't eat anything. Maybe, of course, I'll drink water, but I wouldn't have even any juice or any form of calorie intake, if we can talk about it like that. But don't forget, I wasn't counting calories. And that definitely helped losing weight. When you exercise, the last thing, you burn off some of that things that you have eaten in the day, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up the next morning and you actually feel slimmer. Ladies, if you want to hear more about intermittent fasting, I have another video called The Number One Thing You Need to Know About Fat Burning. Watch that video now because I will see you there.